How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the 5-Star Potential Podcast Social. Hope you guys are keeping well and safe. And we're on to episode 27, I think, of our daily lockdown podcast.
The penultimate one.
It is the penultimate one. We've had lots of people. Means? Yeah. Well, someone asked me if we were carrying these on. No chance is probably the answer to that. But you may see some more, maybe one-off episodes of this down the line somewhere. Joe's shaking his head. We have got Friday Night FM. Joe, how's it going, man?
Yeah, mate. All good. It's currently me 2, Tony 1.
The football.
So I'm slightly distracted. If you look like up here, you might better see it in the reflection.
Yeah, not quite.
No.
Up the football. We've got Dupe as well. Dupe, how's it going, man?
Yeah, mate. It's currently Joe 2, Tony 1. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. It's been a good day, Dave. It's not been a good day. That's a lie. I don't know why I said that, but we're here. One more. And we apologise for missing yesterday. But it was a really good episode, mate. So, GG, you carry this podcast, mate. Without you, we'd be nothing.
Dave recorded it without us knowing.
Yeah, he edited it as well. Imagine that, him editing a podcast. Well, tremendous.
I still screwed that up. I had to re-edit it as well, so yeah.
Okay. Yeah. In the mud.
And we're delighted to welcome back Mr. Tony Jameson. Tony, how's it going, man?
It's Joe 2, me 1. I'm not happy, mate. I'm not happy at all. Like, you know, if it was the other way around, I'd be over the moon, but at the minute, fed up.
To be fair, you will score.
Well, yeah. We might do, but it's only football, isn't it? At the end of the day, that's what we've got to pretend to tell ourselves. It's only football.
Yeah.
Tony, have you got it on?
No. That's why I'm sort of okay with it.
Okay, that's fine.
I have that predicament though that I kind of don't. I want West Ham to win because obviously I love West Ham, but I don't want West Ham to win, so we get rid of Moyes.
Yeah, it's a difficult one, that, isn't it? Yeah, because the more he wins, the more he's looking at an 8-year contract. So
exactly. Not a fan.
Yeah. Well, Tony, we're glad to welcome you back. Obviously, we had you on right at the start. I think you were one of the first ones. So we thought we'd get you back, see how you've been getting on over the last couple of weeks. Talk a little bit more about you as well, because there were quite big subjects that we never really touched on, really, because it was quite a serious podcast, the first one anyway. But have things changed over the last couple of weeks for you, or has it just been a normal few weeks for you in terms of work?
Yeah, I guess like everyone's sort of more of the same, really, to be honest. Like, we said on the last podcast that it was all nice and fun when we were in lockdown during the summer, when it was like hot and sunny and everyone was having a great time. But then when it gets wet and drizzly, you're just like, oh, this is a bit rubbish, this. And like obviously now it's come to the point when we're going to be out of lockdown, but then possibly still in some sort of restrictions that are changing on a daily basis. But then all fine for Christmas, and then back into lockdown again. Yeah. So it's just nonsense, isn't it? But try and do what we got to do at the end of the day. It's just, I think, like everyone just confused, tired, and a bit fed up, really.
COVID's having a few days off for Christmas anyway, and then it'll come back. Yeah,
it deserves it, man. It's had a busy year. You know what I mean? Like, it just needs to rest itself up. Pull itself, see its
Take
family and
some
that. And it's got more holidays than most people have over the Christmas. So it hasn't bothered with bank holidays. So yeah, cash them in.
Yeah. How is it going to affect you sort of from next week, where the lockdown are eased? Are the gyms back open where you are? I don't know what the deal is there.
Yeah, so we're in tier 2.
Yeah.
So from what I understand, and again, this is like all grey area and interpretation. Like, so it looks like gyms will be open, but I don't know whether that means that classes are on or whether it's just like gyms. So theoretically, like, I mean, you could go to like maybe a pure gym or like a commercial gym or whatever and go and just do what you need to do. But like, if you go on like sort of CrossFit classes or whatever, I don't know whether they're technically allowed to run, because they say that it's like the rule of 6 again. So I think we're waiting for a bit of clarification on that. So, but it's better than nothing. I mean, like pubs are open and restaurants, I think, can do some food. Maybe I don't know. Like, I mean, in terms of my life changing, probably not that dramatic, really. As I said on the last pod, like, we kind of keep ourselves to ourselves anyway, and like we've invested in a bunch of kit, just because of the kids, really, like not really getting time to go to the gym more than anything, and then
the kids
going
don't
out
go
and
to
about.
the gym?
No, lazy, man, lazy.
So this is why you bought the stuff to try and motivate them at home.
Yeah, I figured, like, monkey see, monkey do. And yeah, I mean they're getting there. Like they can, deadlift about 5 kilos now, which is pretty good.
Do you even
That's
lift,
not
bro?
Dave.
Yeah, he is, mate. Yeah.
But yeah, so like I mean, and even then, like we're going out and about, like yourselves, like a couple of kids under the age of 2 out and about just ain't really happening. We're not going out for
Nope.
for meals or beers or whatever or cinema. Like, so yeah, I think in terms of like how it's going to affect us going forward, probably not a great deal, to be honest. We're just going to keep doing what we do, I guess. What about you guys? Like, what's your sort of situation? Are you all in 2s or 3s? Or
I'm tier
anyone
3,
in 1?
so I'm in tier 3.
Three.
So it doesn't really, like, from before this like mini lockdown we've had, we're in tier 3 anyway. So it's most things are still the same, like you say. I think, like you said with pubs, I think you can only drink if you're having a substantial meal, can't you?
Or a Scotch egg, apparently.
Yeah, I was going to say they come out as a
Scotch
Scotch
egg.
egg.
Oh my word. Yeah, but yeah, I'm tier 3. I'm pretty much continuing back at work, but other than that, can't really do a lot. I had football as well. My football, I spoke to the guy who managed a football team with today, and I says, "Have you heard anything from the league?" Because when it was tier 3 last time, we were still able to manage the team. We still had games to play, which was a little bit weird because obviously they were like, right, each team's got to have allocate themselves like a COVID steward, which was going to like make sure the parents are like social distancing, and on paper each player was only allowed 1 parent at the game, but like we said that to the parents, and then like someone turned up with their mum, dad and uncle the one week, and they're like, so you can't really, you can't police that really. So I think the league are probably looking at that, and because there's only 2 weeks worth of games and then the kids are on half term anyway the weekend after, I think they're probably just going to leave it till January because we've not heard anything. We can't train either.
Do you not think the kids need that though?
What,
like
the
the kids
break
probably
or
need
the
to get
football?
some energy out.
Oh yeah,
no,
they do.
need to play, don't
The,
they?
pa-
Like,
the,
get
the
actually get out
parents,
there and
the parents will want them to
It'll
play.
do the parents some good.
The parents will want them to
Yeah.
play because they've most kids have been sat there the last 4 weeks anyway, and they're kids of an age now. Like obviously, no disrespect to a lot of you guys, like you didn't have the technology and stuff back then. Like then you still went out a lot more. Well, the same as me. Like, I played a lot more football than I think most kids would now at the age of 7, 8, 9. So like now, all they're on about is playing their Nintendo Switch and PlayStations and stuff. And I'll bet that's all
I got
they've
more
been
upset with the fact you've grouped me with those two old fuckers.
No, I was saying though, I used to always play out and stuff as well. But
I used to play football. They used to play rocks.
I like the fact that it started
And a
off with.
stick and just
hopscotch
tap it
and
along.
that.
I like the fact it started off with back in your day when there was no technology.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
We had Sony Walkman.
to be fair, he's
Come
not
on.
wrong.
No,
when
but-
you used to tell the time
Yeah,
by
the
looking at the
Etch-a-Sketch,
sun.
mate.
You know?
It's in the
By the
sun.
sun. Yeah. No,
Dave,
but
did you know there was a telephone number that you used to be able to call to see what time was?
yeah, was actually.
Yeah.
No, you did. You knew that, Dave. Dave, you knew that. Don't even pretend.
Wait, you would call a number to find
On
out the time?
third ding, the time will be 12:57.
Why was that ever a thing? Don't people have clocks and that?
People couldn't afford
Yeah.
watches back then, Dave.
Yeah.
They were luxury items.
No
You
iPhones to look at, mate.
only get them at sea.
But yeah, like you say, I think the parents will be all for bringing the football back. But
I
like,
don't know why
Parents
they would
need
want
a
to
release
watch.
as well.
I was going to
mate,
say.
the parents love it. It's weird. Like I ain't that bothered because it's another couple of Sundays off. Like no early starts and that. Of course, I'd love to be back coaching and that, but.
Nice to know
Yeah.
you're committed to the cause,
But,
Dave.
yeah, but it's just been like a mad few weeks. And it's like another get back to it in the new year. Have December off and sound. But even the place we train, they're not open. They're not opening. But yeah, there was no social distancing or nothing. Like the one thing they changed when Tier 3 came in, the parents wouldn't stand on the edge of the pitch. They'd stand. It's like in a caged area. They'd stand outside the cage. But there was no social distancing between parents or anything.
What's this lower league Poland?
Yeah.
Caged areas? What the fuck? Is that the away fans?
Got an old Nike advert.
Yeah.
Just
be
with the
fair,
ultras.
Yeah.
If it was me, I'd just like, here you go, mate. Yeah, we're not allowed to come because of the germs. You
Oh,
crack
that's a
on.
shame.
I'm going to go home and enjoy myself whilst you play football in the wind and the cold.
Yeah.
But you've also got the flip side, though. Like you're saying, the kids need to go and burn off the energy, but you've also got the adults who are just pent up with aggression as well. At the minute, they want to go and have a release on a Sunday afternoon and shout at some kids and a stranger. So
To be fair, I might do that.
Yeah.
But apparently doing that, just walking down the street's a bit wrong.
it's frowned upon.
Yeah.
No, I think, the penultimate weekend of the football we played, we got in trouble because a lot of the parents took their frustration out on the referee. And I think the other guy I managed with did as well. So I think you were right there. All the aggression built up. We'd always been nice to
He
referees.
was a wanker though.
Yeah, he was shit. So yeah.
Maybe you should just stick them in the cage and let them fight like UFC style.
Or like back in the day.
Yeah.
Back in the day, you know, matching tracksuits.
Just always think about when it is like Sunday League football. You just think the poor referee is literally just got out of bed for 30 quid and he's getting all this abuse.
It's probably not even that anymore. Well, actually, it might have gone.
They changed that because they're called like
30 quid, 15 quid. It was.
It's like
wasn't a lot.
They call them like soccer centres now. So like the kids' football, they play on like Astro, like 4G now, and there's like 4 pitches. So they'll just do a morning worth of games. So they're probably going to ref like 6 games. But you're probably right. They're probably not getting any more than like 50 quid for the morning. Like for five.
I used to love
games.
doing it. I genuinely used to love doing it. I used to get bored, and then I just used to give like penalties. Yeah, pen. Yeah, fucking pen.
There's some refs that like just like you like. How have you got this job? But then there was a ref
because they applied.
Nobody else wants to do it.
Nobody else wanted to do it.
But there's not a big waiting list to be a referee, though.
Yeah, there was another venue where the ref was really good. Like he was vocal. If like the kids did something wrong, he'd like explain to them what they had to do. But then if the game was like 2 or 3-0, he'd always make stupid decisions just to try and make the game interesting. Like you say, Deep. So like there's a clearly our ball and he goes, they're throwing. I'm like, ref, what the fuck are you doing? Like he just always do it to make it interesting.
I can't remember what the minimum age is. I think it's 14 to become a ref, and I become a ref literally a couple of weeks after my birthday of the level the age you had to be. And I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the course. It was really quite an insight. As a big football fan, it's nice to kind of see behind the curtain. And I had a couple of games, and it's now 2-2 as Ollie Watkins has just scored on the 91st minute. I did text Joe and said, can we pretend they scored a goal in the 82nd? He decided not to do it. That would have been good fun.
Oh, he's offside. He's offside. Come on.
He's offside.
Oh,
is it?
Tony
He's been pushed.
Might not be. Look at the right back.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's tight. So yeah, I remember I had the first couple of games I got was really interesting because it was the first ones, and you'd be like really concentrating on you want to make every decision correct and all that jazz. And then they kind of gave me a lead. I was issued games at my local, so it was quite close to me, but it was 11-a-side. They had just started playing 11-a-side, and it was just so one-sided. You're talking like 13, 14-0, and it got so boring. I used to wear a rubber band around my wrist, and when I kind of felt like I wasn't concentrating, I used to flick it, because I was like, right, I've got to concentrate. At one stage, it was that boring. This one stage, this team were like 16, 17-0 up. The team that hadn't scored come running down the wing, and their keeper just wiped him out. And it was about 10 minutes to go. I gave a penalty, and which it genuinely was a penalty. No argument about it. Genuinely was a penalty. And the ref, their bloke came over to me, the gaffer. He's like, "What are you gonna do, ref?" I was like, "Well, giving a penalty, mate." He's like, "Okay, but that's not a penalty." And I'm like, "Well, it clearly is a penalty." Like, plus you're 13-0 up, mate.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter, does it? It's just let's just play the game. But it's not a penalty. You're wrong. So I said, just go away like this. I'm going away. So then the other manager come up. He goes, "Ref, how long's left?" I went 10 minutes. He goes, "You got to send that keeper off then, ain't you?" I said, "Why is that, mate?" He's like, "Well, because he's last man." I was like, "There's somebody else in the box. It's fine." No, you got to send him off, ref. Come on. I was like, "You're 13-0 down, man. Just grow up," sort of thing. I got to the point where I literally gave the penalty. He missed the penalty. The keeper didn't save it. He just missed it. I don't even think the ball reached the fucking net. And I just blew up for full time. I was like, "Fuck you both. I can't be arsed with this shit." And I don't think I really took much interest in it after that. It just got boring. Just used to just get abused left,
You've got
right,
to be
and
thick-skinned, didn't you? I wonder if the referees now, like the refs, probably like it a little bit better now. Or they've like not got the fans in the stadiums as well. Because I think that's the issue a lot of the time. The players aren't. It's your parents or the fans a lot of the time.
Offside, just by literally his armpit hair.
It's off now, isn't it? Though?
Doesn't even look like they measured it properly.
No,
Depends who VAR is.
doesn't.
Chiefs.
Probably John Moss.
So yeah, I mean, I take my hat off to all the referees, and it is a hard job. I enjoyed doing it. I probably wouldn't want to do it again, but I'm glad I have done it, and I'd have a little bit more respect for referees, maybe.
Yeah, I think I'm the same. I was like yourself as well. Like I did it when I was really young. again, probably about 14, 15 or whatever. And was it the same with you guys as well? Like, would you get like a local team and they just want you to do all their home fixtures because it's just easier than sorting out different refs every week? So, so I found that quite difficult, that you sort of almost get to know the team,
become
the players,
partisan,
and like and you always wanted to keep a distance, but they were kind of like, oh, ref's on our side, like he's one of our boys. And you're like, no, I'm just
you're literally in their pocket,
just here to get paid.
Yeah.
I once had it where the local guy to us said, we've got like 6 home games in the next 2 months. Can we do Can we do like a deal? So instead of paying you like £12 a game, can we play you 10 if we promise you 6 games? So I'm not fucking out. What the fuck's all this about? You know what I mean? If you use your club card points, maybe. But fuck, I couldn't believe it. Oh mate, some of the stories.
Say Acorns Hospice on my sleeve there. You know what I mean? Is it a charity there on my sleeve, mate?
Oh, okay. So I didn't.
Yeah,
get
you didn't get the joke. I killed it.
use
that for your next gig, Tony.
I will do, mate. Yeah. We're all very thankful the comedy circuit's dead now, aren't we?
Well, I was going to ask you about that, Tony, because we didn't really obviously touch on that in the first podcast much. For people that don't know, Tony did a comedy gig related and
just one.
Just one. Yeah, I was gonna say, he did a show, Dave.
Yeah.
Some people call it an illustrious career.
Yeah.
Some people call it. I had a spare Tuesday night.
But yeah, you did a well. What do you describe it as, a series of gigs? What, a tour?
Well, it was a show. Yeah, it was a show, and it became a tour. So
a tour related to Football Manager. How did that come about? You know, 'cause I know it's available on YouTube, on your YouTube channel as well, if people want to watch it.
Yeah, so it was a bit of a weird one, to be honest. So, like, I'd been doing stand-up for a couple of years, and I don't know how much sort of live comedy you guys have seen, that sort of weekend stuff. It's like tends to not be frequented by the likes of ourselves. It tends to be sort of, office nights, hen pies, stag do's, couples. Like, so going out and chatting about Footy Manager, probably not.
People that think they're funnier than you. That's normally
like
I go to a lot of gigs.
Here's one for you. Oh God, here we go. Right.
Dickhead.
And so they tend not to go for Football Manager based stuff, but I had a little bit, and it was about taking Blythe Spartans to the Champions League, and it was a little 5-minute bit, and so I just did it. Like, there's a couple of sort of attempts at a show and a gig and that, and it seemed to go fine. Like, people sort of got on board with it. Blokes in the audience were like, "Oh yeah, I've done that before," and their partners were just like, "Oh, it's your fucking game again. He's talking about." So we got a bit of that, and I was like, "Oh, that's all right." So eventually, started like keeping doing it and that, and then I have to name drop. So apologies for name dropping, but I did a couple of support shows for Kevin Bridges, and that's obviously when we got moved up to go and do the shows up there, and he's a big Football Manager player, and we did the show there, and he's all like, get in touch with these guys who are writing the book, and it was the Football Manager Stole My Life book, the Back Page Press guys. So he said, get in touch with them, tell them your Blythe Spartan story, that'll probably go in the book or something, and then in it went. Thought nothing of it. Nice little picture there of me, with an old haircut, bit of Blythe Spartans chat, happy days. And then I got a call from someone who lived fairly local. They were putting a games expo on, and Miles was speaking at the expo, and they sort of got in touch and said, "Oh, do you want to come and meet him?" I was like, "Yeah, all right, I'll come and have a watch. That sounds pretty cool." And then Miles was like, "Oh, you're the comedian, aren't you?" I was like, I guess so. The only one, no other comedians, just me. I've taken over the industry now. And he says, "So what's the plan with the bit then?" I was like, "I don't know." I was a bit sort of put on the spot, and I was like, "I might write a show." And he's like, "Oh God, do it then. Just do it. And if it's, if you want any help sort of publicising it, then get in touch and we'll try and help you out." So fair play to him. He sort of started retweeting stuff about the show, and we sort of panicked a little bit because we were going to take it to Edinburgh, and you tend not to do your first Edinburgh show about Football Manager. You tend to go with stand-up stuff. So it was a bit of a sort of the wife was still very much at the time going, "This is a really bad idea. You're going to Edinburgh Fringe."
Thanks for the support.
No one's gonna buy tickets for a show about Football Manager, and especially they don't know who you are. So this is like a big risk. And I was like, I guess so, but I kind of had a bit of an idea that it was going to work. So I was like, look, we'll book a couple of warm-up shows. So we did one in Leicester, one in Glasgow, and then they sold out within 24 hours. or something. And I was like, all right, so even if the show's shit, like, people will come. Like, just need to really start writing it to make it better. So it turned out that they were fine. Like, we learned a lot from those shows, and then we rewrote the show before we went to Edinburgh. The entire run sold out, which, again, for like a debut run is like pretty good. So that's pretty decent. Reviews were actually all right. The reviewers kind of understood what the show was about, which again I thought would have been like, no, it's just about Football Manager. Like, it's in the title, you know. And then off the back of that, we just kind of get some more stuff. And Miles invited us down to London, did a show for the SI guys, and he was like, just before we went on stage, I remember him saying to me, he says, "We've not seen this show, have we?" And I was like, "No." And there was that little moment where I was just like, what if he hates it?
Yeah.
What if he hates it? I hadn't even thought about it at that point. There's like 300 people in like the Dingwall in Camden, and I was sort of going, let's just go with it. It'll be fine. And yeah, it was good. And then eventually we sort of got under the nose of a tour agent who said, look, let's see what we can do with it. And we ended up touring it for like sort of probably calendar-wise, like about 3 years, but probably only about 18 months when you sort of take the dates out, and there was a few gaps and stuff where we sort of, due to programming schedules and stuff. So yeah, it was really good fun, man. Really good fun. And like, so we recorded it, as you say, so that's the show's up on YouTube, but that's recorded at the Stand in Newcastle, which is like 300-seater. It's like my hometown venue. So that was like amazing to be able to sell that place out. And yeah, just like really, really good fun. Really good fun. Like, support group rather than a comedy gig. Like turning up and chatting again. Like, I don't know if you chat to audience members in gigs, and they all kind of go, "Oh, they're going to make me look like a dickhead." Like, no, this was just a case of, if I'm going to talk to you, I want to hear your story, and we're going to make you the hero, because that's all it was. Is just sharing what happens, man. Like, people came with players they want to talk about, and achievements, and stories about when they got sacked, and clubs they hate because of Football Manager. And I was like, yeah, it's fine, man. Bring it all in, and we'll have fun. And that's kind of what happened.
Has there been any other comedians? Obviously, you said Kevin Bridges. I think Jason Manford's been quite vocal about his Football Manager exploits. But obviously, if you've spoken to them, have any of them gone, "You're the Football Manager guy," and then just start talking to you about them playing the game?
A little bit, but it's a strange. I think because the thing is, and I guess like having thought about why the show worked, I think it's because Football Manager kind of, and this is where I'm going to sound like dead arty and intellectual, like it transcends culture. So it's not just, it's like FIFA. Like you could tell most people, you could say to most people, "Oh, like, do you play video games?" "Not really." "Oh, do you play FIFA?" "Oh, I play FIFA. Yeah, that's fine." Or like, "Oh, I know Football Manager. Like, I know Taribo West. I know Freddie Adu. I know Mark Kerr." And like, and so it's that thing. So it's popular culture. So enough people know about it that even if they don't play it now, they might have played it back in the day. And that's the sort of the go, like, "Oh yeah, I don't play it anymore, but I used to play it back here. And I used to buy Taribo West." And you're in chatting away about that. And you're right. Like, people do kind of go, "Oh yeah, you do the stuff about Football Manager, so how's it going? Like, what's up now?" And then yeah, they'll bring it up. So there is kind of like, most people play it. So someone somewhere is going to ask you about something. So it's it's just nice.
Is there any plans for maybe a second tour, Tony? A rerun?
I don't know. Like, I suppose, like, the thing is, like, I said for a while. So this was maybe 6 years ago, I think. Now the actual show was done.
Yeah.
I used to keep saying, like, no, like, I'm not doing any more of it. We went to Edinburgh twice with it. So we did like the first run, then we did like a data update, did a bit of a rebrand on it, refresh, did some more stories. Yeah. And I kind of put it to bed, to be honest. But then, obviously, once lockdown came about, the whole industry died overnight, and I was like, well, I need something to do. And me and Matt started podcasting, and then like the idea of content creation came up. So it was sort of very much the thing of, well, I don't really want to do stand up via Zoom. Like, some people are doing it and they're great at it. It's just, for me, I just don't know how I would do it personally. So I was like, I need to do something creative. And the idea of doing this sort of was like, well, I know about that, so let's have a go at it. So I don't know, maybe, I suppose never say never, but there's no immediate plans to do it.
I think we should touch upon your podcast, as you have two massive fans here. Ever since you were on the first time and mentioned it, I decided to check it out. Good stuff. First and foremost, guys, if you haven't listened to it, the link's going to be in the description, isn't it, Dave?
Yeah, I'll make sure I put that in.
Yeah, football therapy. Very good. Even if it's just for the first minute and a half to hear Matt's intros.
Yeah.
Oh, the first minute and a half is adverts.
Yeah, true. Sorry. Maybe the second minute. Sellouts. No, it works, all right. But no, seriously, like, if you haven't listened to it already, you need to listen to it. If you're fans of our podcast, the 5-star, seriously, you need to.
It's completely different, so you'll probably be fans of that as well.
Yeah, it's actually good humour. There's no shitty Dave jokes, and it's good. No, I meant like jokes about you, Dave.
Oh, thank you.
But no, how did that all come about? Like, I know you referenced it in kind of a first couple of episodes about you and Matt being kind of known by association, as Matt said, pretty much, right? You kind of seen you in the same places a couple of times. Oh, we better be friends. But how did it all kind of the idea of the Football Manager, and where did the name come from?
Yeah, so again, like we had a similar path really, bro. So obviously my background's comedy, so my industry collapsed. He's a presenter, so he was doing things like Insomnia and stuff, and so again, no events going on. We sort of back and forth a few bits. We met each other at Salford Lowry when we did the Football Manager show there, and a mutual friend of ours turned up, and he was like, "Oh," he said, "You two should be friends. You've got the same interests." We're like, "All right, fine, cool, no worries." It turns out he's right, so we just chatted about. I told him obviously we were starting doing content. He was like, "I want to do something like football related." Like, he used to do journalism and stuff, so he used to write about Ligue 1. Ligue 1, sponsored by Uber Eats. But he
Home of talent.
He's like, "I just need to do something. Like, I want to get a podcast going." And we sort of back and forth a bit. He's like, "Do you want to do Football Manager?" I was like, "Well, kind of, but we need to find like an angle, because like obviously you guys were doing your thing, which is like fantastic. There's other guys who are doing Football Manager stuff. We didn't want to just be like another piece on the shelf that wasn't really bringing anything different. So, as you say, like, our format is just
rap
two
intros.
blokes. Yeah,
That's what you want
intro.
to say.
Like,
no, I'm joking,
we brought early 2000 Speed Garage, and no one else was doing it. So yeah.
I'm surprised because I'm surprised back then you had the technology, Dave, to even know what some of that stuff is, right? It's good. So any time to dive into Dave is good.
Yeah, so we just sort of back and forth about it, and just like, "Do you want to do it?" And we're like, "Well, yeah, we can give it a go." And Matt came up with the idea of Football Manager therapy. I think in the first incarnation, he wanted to talk. It was going to be an interview-based podcast, where he wanted to get to chat to people about their Football Manager addictions, and I was like, it's a bit heavy. Like, we could try and lighten it up, but you're kind of relying on people to admit that they take this game a bit seriously. I was like, let's maybe do it a bit light-hearted. Like, we probably all are addicts, but let's not talk about the elephant in the room, sort of thing.
I can almost envision now that you've got the 5-star pod, you've got you two, you've got Ben, Jack, Zealand, all sat around a big table, and it's just like, "Hi, my name's Dupe. I've been clean for 4 hours now. I haven't signed a Wonder Kid in 13 days. And yeah, I'm feeling
Pretty much
good."
Sounds like you talking about not smoking, to be fair.
Hey, I'm close to 200 days, mate.
Well, it's fucking good going, man. So well played for that. I applaud you on that.
Not
one.
signing a Wonder Kid for 13 hours?
Yeah,
That's great,
exactly. Play the game properly. Come on.
But that is like that'd be class, wouldn't it? That would be good if you could get them all in a room and just do a spin-off of it. I mean, it's not shouldn't joke about AA and alcoholism, but that sort of setting is what I can envision right now.
But we had something similar though in the show, and again it's a joke that I think actually made it to the final piece, which was we did one of the gigs, and again just chatting to people, like, how long you played the game. And one guy's response was, "I'm 5 years clean." I was like, brilliant. Like, just, I don't know where I'm supposed to go at that point, but the rest of the show changed. Just at the second he said that, I was like, now we've got a show. Okay. Yeah.
So when you ask somebody, so how long have you been playing the game?
14 seasons.
It's not a game. It's real.
But there's the lad as well. I said, "Oh, what do you do for a living?" He goes, "I'm the Ajax manager." I was like, fair enough. Whatever.
Love it.
Yeah. Oh, that's class, isn't it?
What's the craziest story you've got from one of those, Tony? Or what was the maybe weirdest place you performed?
Wow. Are we talking about sex now or what?
Yeah. And again, with the same responses as well. What's the weirdest thing? There was.
Yeah, you know that blank video you've got, Dave.
Won't be blank when I finish with it. One guy said he played as Fenerbahce and he set fire to his bin, so he had a flare.
Tremendous.
It's a bit weird.
Tremendous.
No pyro, no party.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a bit fair enough. I mean, I talk about going on an open top bus ride, so I can't really complain, to be honest.
We still need to
I've got one booked in for Dave, but we haven't been able to do it because he completed the Pentagon Challenge.
He did, yeah.
And on the pod when Dave started it, literally, I think the first week he spoke about I'm going to do a Pentagon Challenge. Curtie turned around and went, "You're never going to do that, Dave. Like you're just going to give up." So I was like, when Dave got very close, I was like, "Dave, look, if you finish this now, I'll pay for an open top bus, and we'll drive past Curtie's house with all like the fake trophies and just throw eggs at his window." They'd probably have to be free range and probably goose eggs as well, but
locally sourced.
Yes, yeah, for Curtie it would have to be.
I was going to say, have you ever been heckled at a Football Manager gig?
Not really. I think because usually, like again, we're so slightly sort of pigeonholing the audience here. I guess they tend not to be the most outgoing audience in the first instance.
Fair play. Yeah, I recognise that. Yeah,
we had
you left back shit.
We did a one in Swindon, like a lovely art centre in Swindon, and
lovely area, mate.
They're beautiful, man. Like if you want to go and see like a really difficult roundabout, go to Swindon. Like, and we went there, and the front of house manager, she came up to me before the show started. She went, just so you know, there's 120 blokes in the reception. I was like, yeah. And she went, there's no women. I went, there won't be. She's like, are you worried it's going to kick off? I was like, no, like it won't. It definitely won't kick off.
I'll put Star Wars on there. Be fine.
like if you go in there, right, I'm willing to bet 7 of them are drinking dandelion and burdock. It's not gonna happen. So
and 6 of them, the only tits they sing with their mums when they're breastfeeding. Like it's Swindon as well, to be fair, mate. There's every chance I would have kicked off in Swindon.
It's possible, but yeah, that was just like heckles probably weren't really a thing. I guess because of the fact that I sort of encouraged it, I suppose, encouraged people joining in. I was like, look, you're not going to ruin the show because it's just we all want to chat and we all want to be part of it. So whereas if it's on a Friday or Saturday night, if you're going to start heckling up, then yeah, I'll go for you and we'll finish it. That way, and there's been nights where just been stand up and just slanging at people on stage, which is perfectly fine. But I'd rather just do me stuff.
Yeah. To be fair, if it was me, I'd have just shouted out you call it stats instead of attributes. That would have probably been what I would have heckled you.
And you know what?
That bothers me on your podcast.
You'd have had the audience on your side as well. That have been booing me.
Every time you say that, my toes just curl.
That's not what you said yesterday. You said your knob inverts.
I do a scared turtle every time you say it.
To be fair,
regional variance, we'll call it.
Yeah. Even Miles called it stats on his athletic podcast.
I know.
To be fair.
I know. It just pains me.
No, I get that. And that's the thing. The standards in it. It's like if you go around calling them regens now as well.
I was going to say it's the new gen regen debate.
Yeah. And it's a lot of things safe scumming. Like people obviously frown upon that. Dave, the use of in-game editor. People obviously frown upon that. Dave, and also disabling attribute masking or enabling attribute masking. That's a bit of a topic, right, Dave? See, I'm always one. I don't want to see the attributes because I like to make it as real as possible, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So much so that on one of my saves I actually disabled attributes, so I couldn't see anything.
That didn't last very long.
That didn't really last. But yeah, it's amazing how there's all these little side arguments. New gen, regen, stats, attributes. They're so toxic, this community.
2D, 3D. That's fun as well.
Don't, Dave. We can't go back there.
Free
again.
out front.
You know,
Okay.
Shadow
wing backs
striker.
inverted wingers. Like,
Yeah.
So I'm assuming you're a 3D man, yeah?
yeah, 3D, yeah, 3D director cam. Although I tried the TV cam recently, and
TV's the one, you know.
it's nice.
TV
but,
slammed and zoomed in, really good.
Yeah, but because I'm on a laptop, and at the minute I'm playing in Belarus, which is like half a stand or whatever. It's like 2 benches. Like you can't really see a great, like the angle's not brilliant for watching the action. It's
Okay.
It looks amazing on stream. Like watching you guys on stream looks cracking. But when you're actually doing it on a laptop, it's I'm not getting enough. Like so I go 2D director. 3D director. That's mine.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
I think a lot of people have gone 3D, especially this year, because the match engine's just clean.
The
Man.
animations are nice, so like, why would you not? Like, you know, I get dots are good, and you know, we've been, you know, you get this, Dave. We did it when it was just text, right? So
I still swear it was better when it was commentary only because you had to use your imagination.
yeah,
And that's why we think of it so fondly.
it's true. But that's the thing with the game, though, isn't it? Like that's why I think the match engine's been, like, I want held back's probably the wrong word, but it's not been at the forefront of changing. Like it doesn't have to be as slick as FIFA, you know, because we've grown up with just being a text-based game. So everything else, we fill the blanks in ourselves. Like a lot of people played 2D still, so why would you spend so much time developing this 3D match engine that probably only about a third, maybe half at best, are going to be using? Like
This, I said this though. I can't remember. It might have been to Seb. I can't remember. But the problem you've got is that there are a lot of, let's call us experienced players that don't mind it because we've grown up with it. But then that's a bit of a closed market. So if they're going to sell games for the next 10, 20 years, you know, we won't play the game as much. Maybe, I hope we still do, but it's that new market of people that they expect FIFA graphics. So if you want Football Manager to kind of exist, that's why I think they're having to kind of move with the times. But it doesn't need to be FIFA, but obviously when you've got people that are playing FIFA that then want to kind of go over to Football Manager, they've got an expectation, I think. So yeah, I don't care. I actually said to Duke the other day, can you play commentary only? Because I wanted to try it on my Surface Pro. Yeah, I'm happy with that.
Yeah, I think for me, like, I think I really enjoyed it. Obviously, the first couple of games I played was commentary only, and I think, like you said, Joe, the use of your imagination. You don't see some of the graphical representation that you see in game now that kind of may annoy you and aggravate you and etc. etc. So I think that kind of just alleviated. I think was it Ant Mac and Cheese that said that he played it on commentary only anyway. Last year's game?
Maybe. Yeah, I think he might have said commentary only 3D highlights. Or
3D
like 3D
highlights.
replays.
Yeah, so he couldn't actually see any because it got a bit of a bad rep last year, but that's why, you know, and then he did that. That's a really good idea, but I mean it's tough now. You got it's like buying a convertible and not putting the roof down. Do you know what I mean? Like you bought the nice game, so let's take the roof down and let's drive along with it.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, especially as well now that you've got the extra sort of movements and that as well. I mean, you know, like watching players do Rabonas now. Like, yeah, I like that. Like this afternoon,
the dinked
again,
finishes as well.
Belarus. I'm playing at the minute. One of my guys got the ball just inside his own half, outside of the boot, pinged it down the wing. It curled. Me striker arches a run, picks it up, cuts it straight back along the box, and a goal. I'm like, where was that last year? Like,
yeah,
that's what I want to see. I don't want that as dots. I'm going to miss all that. Like, if they're going to take the time to animate that, then yeah, let me see it.
But on Dave's earlier in his stream, I think it was Traore come down the left-hand side, crossed the ball in, and Fabio Silva went to jump over the ball and then kind of back heel it.
Yeah, you know when they like
between the back.
You know when you put like your foot in front of the ball and try and do
Like
a
that
back heel
way.
flick. He got blocked on the line and then Greenwood tapped in the
No, he got blocked by Greenwood and then Greenwood just like took it off and scored. Yeah.
But yeah, I had to
Thanks for
watch it
watching
again.
that.
I was like, wow, that would have been amazing. But like the dinked finishes, man, for me at the moment. Or was it Greenwood scored one? It was in a big game, but like they're all different now. This one, he goes right up to the goalkeeper, as dinks it as the goalkeeper. I've seen him outside the box, like really high dinks to go over the keeper. Like it's like you say, like and some of the passing moves this year is just like uncomparable to old games. Like
even as well as some of the goalkeeper movements. Like again, you're talking about the dinks there. Like I had a one where the keeper came running out and spreads himself and goes to his knees, like animated properly for the striker to dink it over the top. And I almost didn't see the finish because I looked at the goalkeeper animation and went, "Oh, that's perfect." Oh, I've conceded. Oh, well, never mind. Like, I was taken in by yeah, I was taken in by the fact that, oh, that looks lovely. Oh yeah, we're 1-0 down. Never mind.
Yeah, it's amazing to see how much it's progressed, and I think this has obviously been the biggest jump. I mean, it's been the biggest jump in terms of match engines. I've said to these two a couple of times, I've been playing an FM tournament, which still hasn't finished yet, but it was being run on FM20 just because it was started then. And the fact that I've got to go play FM21 and then play FM20, it's ridiculous, the difference. It's so, like, FM20 looks crap compared to 21 in terms of match engine. So it's mad.
And it is bad because 20 was great. Like, I genuinely thought 20 was really, really good. And, like, you know, with the pandemic and everyone working from home, like, I think that, we could probably all agree, we probably didn't think the match engine was going to be the thing they were going to develop as much as they've done. So what they've done in that time frame working from home, it's like, all right, fair play, well done, lads. That's some cracking work.
Yeah, definitely. In terms of going back to your sort of comedy stuff as well, Tony. Like, had you more or less stopped from doing comedy anyway before lockdown, or was it still something that you'd sort of was still doing other than your normal work?
So kind of like, not necessarily winding it down, but like we'd obviously, so like the last couple of years have been a bit less comedy and more 9 to 5, obviously with family commitments put in as well. So about 3 or 4 years ago we bought a house. Obviously need to go get a mortgage, so that's kind of, you know, self-employed wages don't look great at a bank, so I was like, right, fine, I'll go and get a job just to help get that sorted out. So did that, still doing comedy, so I'd work 9 to 5, then I'd jump in the car, drive down to wherever, come back, and you know, we did that when we first started out, and then we sort of did it again you know, a couple of years ago, and it's kind of starts to take its toll a little bit when you're getting towards your late 30s. Then we ended up having the first child 2 years ago. So at that point we were kind of, I was like, right, look, I don't want to go out now. Like, we'd spent 5 years trying to get him in the first place. Like, I didn't want to then be driving out and about all night, getting back at 2 o'clock in the morning, not seeing him, and going, I've got 100 quid in my pocket. Like, do I need 100 quid that badly? And I was like, nah, like, I'd rather bring that a bit more family time now. So I was really picking gigs in terms of locality. So, like, if we had a full weekend, then yeah, fine, Brighton's an option. We'll go and do Brighton Friday, Saturday. But if it's just Brighton on a Thursday, I can't do that now. Like, so we can do Glasgow Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Awesome, let's go for a weekend, family weekend away. You know, but again, stuff that's local, Leeds, Halifax, Sheffield, Manchester's an hour away. We could do them during the week, but again, they had to be worth my time.
Yeah.
So we're kind of in that situation. Then, of course, we then found we were pregnant again. Gave birth in November, by which point it was sort of like, look, I'm gonna have to rein stuff back. Like, I took all my Christmas work out anyway because we were expecting him coming back end of December, and he turned up 2 months early. So all the gigs I'd taken all that out anyway, and then of course the pandemic hit in. So kind of like the last year has been planning for not gigging this year, and then obviously the pandemic's kicked in. It's kind of been something I've not had to worry about. Like a lot of comedian friends of mine who obviously that's their sole income have had all their work gone, and like, you know, it's awful watching them having to try and like sort of work out what they're going to do now. Like, whereas for me, it was like an additional income. Of course, we miss it. Of course we do. Like, you miss the extra income, especially now 2 sets of nursery fees to pay. But like, because of the fact that I've got something else, I'm not in as bad a position as some of my mates are. So yeah, like I say, not really deliberately, like not really sort of like left comedy, but the pandemic came at a good time, if that's a sentence you can say.
I know what you mean.
That doesn't sound weird. Like.
Yeah. So do you think that that's it? No more Tony Jameson, or you're not writing yourself off?
Like not, maybe not for the next couple of years, but like, I guess something like comedy, it's never going to go away. Like, there'll always be something you can do. Like, so, like the Football Manager stuff. Like, you know, at the time I said we were never going to do any more of it, and now it's got to the point where, you know, I'm podcasting, like we're having these conversations, like we're doing content creation. So maybe this is just a case of, again, I needed a bit of a break and it's come at a good time, and go back, reinvent myself, find something new to talk about. Because, again, like, what differentiates you on stage from another bloke who's now in their 40s talking about being at home with 2 kids during a global pandemic? Like, most comedians have got material about that now. So you need to find
that's Jason Manford, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh, I'll tell you what's rubbish about self-isolating. Oh, do you remember when we did the elbows? Like, nah, I don't want that. I don't want to be on stage watching that, and I don't want to be having to talk about that. So, and I don't know what I want to talk about. So, at the minute, until I know, then I'll probably let guys who have had work taken away from them, like, they should really get the work now, and I'll slot back in as and when I need to.
I'm going to ask a bit of a personal question, if you don't mind. Obviously, if it's too personal, don't answer it. And it might be a cut to a bit to the bone, but I do apologise. Do you feel that with your first kind of show that you did about Football Manager, that you've pigeonholed yourself now into Football Manager? So you say about you going back into comedy and not doing Football Manager. Would you struggle to step away from that, or do you think it'd be quite an easy transition?
I think.
Or do you feel like you'd have to go back into Football Manager?
You know what? I don't think I'd have to go back into Football Manager, but I think you're right. Like, when the show happened, I definitely felt I was pigeonholed, because of the fact that it was quote unquote a success. Like, at the time before that, I was relatively unknown. Like people knew of me, and I was decent enough, and I was getting gigs that I needed to get, but I wasn't like. I mean, I was the same comedy school year as Joe Lycett and Chris Ramsey, and so they were the guys who were like doing great stuff, and I was sort of in and around it, but like nowhere near their level. So I wasn't sort of getting the gigs that they were getting. And then I did the Football Manager stuff, and then that kind of moved me from being like just a normal sort of run-of-the-mill comic to someone who was touring, but no one really knew anything about. So I was like, that's a bit weird. And then like bookers would look at you and go, all right, you're just going to do Football Manager stuff, aren't you? Like, because they didn't know enough about me as normal stage, like weekend comedy stuff.
Yeah.
I said, no, I'll do like normal stuff. And like, oh, we don't really know. So yeah, so maybe I may have lost some work potentially at the time. And then I think going back now, I think I've got enough, like people know enough about me that I could go back in and do straight stand-up. But I think at the time I maybe not cost myself work, but I think that completely understandably, I think bookers would have looked at it and just went, Football Manager stuff isn't really going to work at a weekend show, and I totally understand their point, and it is what it is at the end of the day.
I guess until the day that Mock the Week needs some Football Manager content, when that day comes, you're top of the list. Let's put it that way, right?
You know what?
And when 8 out of 10 cats need it, like bang, you're there.
I'd like to think I'm in the conversation, but never take anything for granted, isn't it? You're going to be sitting there going, I could have done this.
Yeah.
I've set the scene for like out of lockdown. There's no tier system. We've got the streamer showdown. He's done to a live audience. You have Tony doing the warm up, doing his and then on the Sunday we get the 2 podcasts combined. We do a live podcast, and then we go into streamer showdown live. Can you imagine that? Oh.
That sounds amazing. I'm up for that.
We get a discount for having you 2 days on the trot.
Yeah.
And also I'll be your warm up as well, so it'll be fine.
This does not say Acorn Charity.
This isn't Sunday League referees fees. You've got to pay properly. But
yeah, it won't be my money. We get KFC to pay for it.
That sounds like an idea, man.
Yeah, no, I'm up for that.
Need the world to
hang on. You said to do it for a KFC box meal. There you go. Easy.
Margin bucket for Sunday.
Each day, book it for Sunday. Exactly. Come on.
Yeah.
Baked beans, gravy. No.
Baked beans. Yeah.
Hey Dave, I bet you back in the day, mate. I bet you don't remember before when they didn't do gravy, did you?
I'm not a massive. I'm not a massive KFC goer. So,
KFC never used to come in a box either.
Well, they just give it you.
Yeah, just chuck it through the window.
You have to pluck the chicken yourself.
Were you ever old enough not to have a drive-through?
I was a drive-through, isn't it?
Can you remember not having a drive-through there? No, you can't.
No.
He's thinking, it's definitely not it.
Do you
Were they a
remember
thing?
not having pubes?
I still haven't got views.
Do you remember when all KFCs came with a Viennetta, whether you wanted it or not?
That
Those
was
were
Before
days.
my time.
No, it used to be like you go and you get your KFC.
That is a thing, yeah.
And
is that
you
still a thing being there? Because they are nice, man. They were unreal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, that's why they've got the
That was a
Viennetta
thing with KFC, yeah.
milkshakes now. It's like you go, you get your,
Yeah.
your meal deal, your bargain bucket or whatever, and yeah, your dessert was a Viennetta.
How big? Just like
Whether you liked
a
it or
choc
not.
ice size or something, or the
No,
full
no, no,
size?
proper,
a
like a normal one,
Viennetta,
yeah.
like a whole Viennetta.
How's that? Well, they melt on the way home, or you have to eat it in like.
You ate it in. You didn't have drive-throughs back then. You
We didn't have
horse and
fucking
cart
cars,
was
mate. It's horse
taken.
and carriage.
You had a KFC a year, not not once a week.
You had to go
Or
on a-
once a day.
Park it at
Um,
KFC on
pilgrimage.
your penny farthing. Anyone know what it is? Yeah, Tony does. Dude was a bit confused, you know.
I know what penny
Yeah,
farthing
yeah,
is,
yeah.
Dave. It's okay.
Victorian
What was I going to say? I remember going back to like old school stuff like that. I remember the first version of me playing Football Manager was 0304. I went back and played the iconic versions, but I got a demo out of a Frosty's box.
Good work.
Yeah, so that's kind of that's how I got into Football Manager and Championship Manager.
Would that have been CD though? Would that have been like?
It would have been
floppy
a
disks?
disc. It would have been a disc. I'm a little bit younger than that. Yeah, it would have
Yeah.
been just a proper disc, not like floppy
Floppy
disc.
disk,
Like
yeah.
Dave got it on a download code.
I was
Yeah.
CD. I was CD. I've still
No,
got it somewhere.
Dave got a download code, put it on Twitter because Miles signed it, and someone nicked it.
Oh, Dave.
Remember that?
I phoned him. I was like, Dave, you do know in that picture it's got the download code.
I
And
can't
then he had to go buy a game.
See,
Look
back
at him.
in our day, Dave, there was no such thing as cyber security, so
Yeah.
didn't have to worry about
Hey, I
that.
know.
Fishing was
Yeah.
a pastime, not
Put
not,
the
you know,
picture. Who wants to win a
Yeah.
signed copy of Football Manager by Miles? Code was just on the top of the picture. It was gone. So, yeah, I had a nightmare. Someone just replied, "Thanks for the copy." I was like, "What are you on about?" I looked at the picture.
Yeah, cheers for the game, mate. Great giveaway.
Nightmare. Still, I think I've still got that
Tremendous.
somewhere. Yeah. Well, useless now, really. So just Miles' signature. That's all. Can't think of any more
Yeah.
Victorian
To be
time
fair,
jokes.
now you see him all the time. Well, it's
Oh
pointless.
yeah,
isn't
me
it,
and
Dave?
Miles.
Now you like best. Now you WhatsApp him, just like Miles, send us.
He loves
right.
Dave.
Yeah.
Me and Miles are
Him and-
brethrens, man. It's just one of those things.
I don't even know what that means, Tony. So you got no chance, pal.
no idea.
Good pals.
I think that means boyfriend and girlfriend.
Yeah.
That's what I think it means.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's what he says when he talks about Griezmann. He goes, "Oh yeah, I always WhatsApp Grizzy and
Grizzy.
and Azzo. Yeah, me and Azzo go way back as well." That's what he says about me.
He's Azza.
Me, man. He calls
Oh,
me Azzo.
you?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
It's my nickname. Yeah, it's not. It's not.
On
Real.
that note, guys, if you would like to,
Yeah, let's end it here. I don't know where we're going now. Tony.
If you want to send that to Didn't Happen of the Year
Yeah,
Awards.
that is a good chance.
Again,
of winning.
back in our day, we didn't have nicknames. You know.
Yeah.
no,
Anthony.
to be fair, Tony was the only Tony in the whole world. You know, in his year group, that was it. You don't have like 17 days like you have now. I mean, some of the names of kids at school are just tremendous.
There's 3
There's a
Davids in
kid-
my class at school. It was confusing.
Was
as
there?
hell, yeah.
So my little boy's Oscar, and he's Oscar H because there's an Oscar J, an Oscar B, and an Oscar D.
Well, 2 David
And it's
A's in
like-
my class as well.
Wow.
Confusing AF.
They've got a Liberty, and they've got a. What's the
Statue.
girl's name? Oh, it's something horrendous. Oh, it's. I'll have to find it out.
While you think about it, right? Bear in mind, I did speaking of terrible kids' names, I did a kids' comedy show in Glasgow. So like Sunday
Wow,
afternoon.
that must have been tough.
Like, it's horrific. Like but it pays well, so you're fine. So you essentially try and make jokes for the parents, but the kids don't quite get what's going on. And I was chatting to these kids, and I was like, so to this last, right, what's your name? And she goes, I'm Savannah. And without even thinking, right, in my head, I just went straight on the microphone. Oh, we all know what you're going to grow up to be, then don't we, in the future? And I was like, oh, I can't say that. What have I done?
It's a kid show.
It's a kid show. Like the
teacher's
parents,
just saying
the parents are going.
Dad's there going, yeah, probably.
The parents are ending themselves at the venue that are having a great time. All the kids are just like, I don't get it. And I'm like, don't know.
Ask your dad.
Dad didn't look best pleased, to be honest.
So we have an Alfred in my son's class.
What?
And we have an Otterly.
Otterly?
Otterly, yeah. I mean, private school names are weird, right?
I think that's a
we
spelling
also-
mistake.
Yeah.
We also have a Monty. We have a Maximilian and Jameson. We have, which I can't.
Are
help
you just
think he-
reading Football
Yeah,
Manager?
this is a Brazil under 18s. This is.
I was gonna say, I can't help think he played for Everton. No, seriously, it's all there. Look, there's the list. We're not going to show it like fully on camera.
Yeah.
GDPR, yeah.
I like you've been taking pictures in a school again.
Just tweet it out. Just tweet it out. Someone will get back to you. Or
Yeah,
change
yeah,
the
yeah.
kids' names.
Yeah.
So, to be fair, it looks like I say that. There's some terrible names here.
I
Absolutely
mean,
terrible
Lewis ain't the
names.
greatest, is it? Let's
My
be
name's not
honest.
on it, to be fair, mate. It's not. I mean, there's 4 Isabellas.
I mean, why are we cussing 4-year-old kids here? What's the
To be fair, they're 5 days.
You, your stupid name.
Yeah.
Some of those names though, like I could bully was so easy. Like, send me back there. I want to go. You know what I mean?
If your kid's called
Hello,
Isabella,
because they can
unsubscribe. Yeah.
You can't even spell my name.
Joe. Yeah, I can.
Sorry, mate.
J-O.
To be fair, my nan does that, so.
To be fair, mate, I am dyslexic.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm KO now though. It's okay. Let's go.
Yeah.
Move on. Move on.
Right, let's finish it there. Tony, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you back on the podcast, man. And I'm sure we'll,
No, awesome as always.
yeah, I'm
awesome.
sure we'll chat to you
Appreciate getting
soon
back.
again. Deep, Joe, thanks a lot again. As always, guys, be sure to hit the like button down below. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We've got obviously all the links for each of us in the description again. I'll leave a link, or make sure I leave a link to Tony's podcast as well. And obviously, if you're struggling mentally as well, links for the professionals are in the description as well. But
Link to his YouTube channel.
and
as
his
well.
YouTube channel, yeah.
It's on fire at the moment, by the way. It's on
Cheers,
fire. Go check it out.
Yeah.
I mean, it shows what you can do when you do produce a really good podcast. It grows your other social media platforms. But no, it's on fire. Looks good, man.
Cool. Oh, cheers, guys. I appreciate
Yeah.
that. Thank you.
The other Arsenal.
Well, I'll link that in the description as well. But until next time, guys, enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you all very soon. Say goodbye, chaps.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.